What's up, nail geeks, and welcome back to another Wildflower Lacquer launch. This time we have the Rewind collection, and these were all voted on by fans in the Facebook group for what's going to come back from various collections to basically close out this last year of polishes, as Wildflower's shop is going to be closed in December. So this is grab them while they're hot. So I'm super stoked. Some of these I personally missed out on, and some of them I did grab whenever they were first launched. So I'm very excited that we do have an opportunity to purchase them again, because many of these that I missed out on previously, for whatever reason, whether it was I was on a buy ban for money stuff, or if it was I thought maybe I had something close, what have you. Being able to swatch these, I was kind of like, okay, I see that. It's just, sometimes it's just so hard. You see swatches of something or whatever, and you're like, oh, I can skip that or whatever. But then, seeing them in person, I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm so glad we have another opportunity to get them. It's just wild to me that wildflower, see what I did there. It's wild that reading that on the PR information, this is, pre-order, whatever, and then we're, closed in December. It just hit me like all of a sudden that we are towards the end of the year. And this year has been something else. It felt so long in the beginning. Like this year's January felt like it was 400 years, not even gonna lie. And then it just kind of flew by, and I'm like, we need to slow down a little bit. It's something else. So anyways, I will quit lamenting on you guys. Let's check out pretty polishes, not depressing times going too fast stuff. So without further ado, let's check them out. And first up is Rose Apothecary. This is a 2.0 version. This is described as a fuchsia leaning magenta base with moonstone shimmer, the same shimmer that was in that beautiful moonstone polish released quite some time ago. It is stated in our PR information that this is a more sheer version than the original. I do own Rose Apothecary, the first one, and I do agree with that, absolutely. This does have a lighter formula to it, but it builds up and plumps up very nicely. Since it is packed full of shimmer in this more jellyish, crellyish sort of base, I'm going to suggest going in light on your brush strokes just to prevent any sort of potential streaking. I think 3 coats is going to work the best with this, regardless of free edge. If you're rocking nubbins, maybe 2 coats. It does dry down semi-flat, semi-gloss, just kind of normal, so I think any top coat's perfect. And next is Tea Time with Barbie. This is also a 2.0 version. This is described as a bright pink jelly base with orange to pink to purple crystal flakes. This one was originally launched in 2021, which P.S. Rose Apothecary was also originally launched in 2021 as well. So we have a absolute flaky bomb going on here. I'm going to suggest going in light on your coats for this one too, because the flakes are of the chunkiest variety, and you don't want to get any sort of dragging or anything or over buildup, which can definitely happen because this does have a squishy formula. So 3 light coats is going to give you that wonderful mosaic-like effect. I didn't have any issues in terms of like super thirstiness, but I would still suggest a slightly thicker top coat to finish it off. And next is Tea Time with Ken. This is a rich cerulean blue jelly base with aqua to blue to green shifting crystal flakes. Now this one is one of the ones that is not a voted on bring back shade. Taylor created this one to go with Tea Time with Barbie, and I really like it. These two are a perfect duo themselves. So it has a very similar formula to Barbie. It's got tons and tons of chunky flakes. This is a cool toned type base, so if you're warm toned like myself, this is going to pop ridiculously well on you. I think light coats is going to be your best friend here, and it just looks like shimmering waters when you build it up. It's very, very nice. The flakes are very large, so just be careful on dragging, and go in with a slightly thicker top coat. Just again, be careful on your coats not to go in too thick. And here we've got Thankful 2.0. This is described as a soft blurple base with strong coppery red to gold to green shifting shimmer and linear hollow effect. This one was originally released in 2020. So we have a very Very smooth formula. This built up like butter on my nails, and it soft levels excellent, even though it's just packed full of shimmer. Usually you got to be a little careful with shimmer bombs like this, but that is not the case. 2 coats was perfect opacity and no issues there. Now, because it is so loaded up with this beautiful pigment, you're going to need to finish with a good glossy top coat, just a little bit thicker, because all that shimmer is it just makes it dry down incredibly flat. And here we've got my personal top pick. This is Snakeskin 2.0, described as a bright blue base packed with hollow flakes and scattered red to gold to green shifting crystal flakes. This one was originally released in 2020. Snakeskin had my heart back when it was originally released, and it still does. This is beautiful. It's very flattering. It's just something that I would reach for to also go on my toes, because I typically like really sparkly, obnoxious colors like that on my toes. And this is so flattering, so popping. I think it's going to look fantastic on medium to deep skin tones. I think 2 to 3 coats is great for opacity. Personally, I thought 2 coats was fantastic. If you're rocking claws, I could see you needing a 3rd coat. And here is You're Simply the Best. This is a bright pink base with strong red to gold shifting shimmer. This one was released in 2021. It does state in our PR info that this is the original formula, so no differences here. This is incredibly flattering too. I really have to hand it to Taylor. Every single one of these. Honestly, I also have to thank the Facebook group for voting on these too, but these are just popping ridiculously well. I don't see an issue, playing up against anyone's skin tones. They're all, I think, going to look fantastic on any tone. I think 2 coats and a glossy top coat is the best for Simply the Best, and you're good to go. There is a light gold shift to this one at more extreme angles. And here is another one of my top picks. This one is Picture It Sicily, 1922. This is a deep peacock blue base with red to gold to green shifting shimmer. This one was originally released in 2021. I also have the original bottle to this too, and it is definitely the same. This is beautiful and flattering. This was part of the Golden Girls quad. This was actually the polish when those were released that made me purchase the entire quad. Of course, I love blue shimmers, and I knew this was going to be right up my alley. And when you build it up, it's just so worth it. It's so loud with the shimmer. It's an easy shift between that reddish gold and indoor lighting, and at shaded lighting, you'll see this beautiful green shift that you'll see on my macro shot here. This is definitely worth it to get. I think 3 coats is gonna flatter it the best. Finish with a good glossy top coat. It does have a lighter formula, so just go in normal to light on your coats to prevent any sort of over buildup. And here is Somebody to Love. This is a delicate blurple base with pink to gold shimmer and scattered hollow flakes. It states here in my PR info that this is the original formula. Now, this is one that I didn't grab before, and I would have kicked myself for not getting it, because playing around with it in person and seeing how shifty and glowy, it's almost a kitchen sink finish, but not quite. I think even though it's got those little hollow flakes in here, the shimmer is what just catches your eye's attention the most, and it pops so well with that blurpily sort of base. I think my full hand shot here is giving you a really good idea of what I'm seeing in person. I know that blurples can tend to photograph kind of odd, leaning one way or the other, but I do agree that it's really truly right there on the fence between blue and purple. And here we have my very, very, very favorite. This one is Follow Us on Tweeters. This is a 2.0 version, and it's described as a light blue base with aqua to purple shifting shimmer. This one was originally released in 2020. I really kicked myself on this one. This was one that got away from me back in 2020, and I kept waffling on it, if I'm completely honest. Playing with it in person, even the 2.0 version, I wish I would have had this sooner. This is a stunning color. It's so chock full of glow. It's bananas. It's very intense in person. I think 2 coats is great. It's got a strong, plumping, creamy, smooth formula to it though. So I will caution you against overworking that brush to prevent any sort of streaking on your nails. It does dry down flat because it's full of shimmer. And next up, we've got Dachshund Through the Snow. This is a 2.0 version, described as a milky gray linear hollow. This one was originally released in 2020. This is what I would consider one of those like clean slate sort of palette cleanser type polishes. Way back when I first got into indies, everyone was chasing after these dove gray linear hollows, and I miss them. I think they're just beautiful, and they have this slight glistening, absolutely snow, pun intended, look to them. And this has a great creamy formula to boot as well. I think 2 to 3 coats is going to be the best. Even if you have shorter nails, I think that third coat is kind of necessary just to kind of plump it out, because this does have more of a curly rather than creamy formula to it. In the sunshine and stuff, you'll see those rainbows. Finish with a good glossy top coat, and it's just so clean and satisfying looking. And here we've got the grass is greener under my Weiner. This is described as a green linear hollow. This one was originally released in 2021, and it states here in front of me, this is the original formula too. So we have a very strong, true linear hollow. I think this has a very much metallic-like pull as you go in with your coats. 2 coats is just, that's all you need. It's got a wonderful, rich, smooth, opaque type formula. And just to full disclosure, I am wearing a water-based top coat underneath my glossy top coat in my swatches and my full hand shot here, just because I knew this was a super ultra saturated holographic that I didn't want my quick dry glossy top coat to bleed through it. It's just how I personally wear hollows like this, just to keep the rainbows going. And then lastly, I'm including this little screenshot from Taylor herself. This is It Doesn't Get any better than this. This is also going to be a part of her release for this launch, and this was not included in swatch packets since it was released just a couple of months ago. And this is going to be the original formula. And then lastly, we have the Will It Topper segment. This is where I demonstrate polishes over a black cream to show if they're going to layer up nicely and have versatility. All right, so we've got a really mixed batch going on here with really interesting results. So Rose Apothecary, of course, especially that it's got a lighter formula, was going to pop well, and it looks really good. And then Tea Time with Barbie and Ken. Both of these look great. I was pleasantly surprised that this is, or rather both of these are those types of jellies that we're going to see just a bit of a cast from their base colors onto those flakes. So it's almost like they get a more of a respective pink and blue look to them. These are going to pop well over a matching undie, but of course they look really cool over dark colors too. Thankful took over all the things with all the shimmer here. The shimmer itself took on more of a coppery orange look like what you're seeing here on the video. It was just very opaque. Snakeskin, I was kind of curious how this was going to look, and I do think it toppers, and it passed the test. It does scatter out the hollow flecks in it though, so I think just go in light so you don't get streaking if you choose to layer it. You're Simply the Best was so opaque. I kind of figured it was going to do this, but it also vamped out. So I do think it passed the topper test. The gold shift does pop better in person than what you're seeing on the video. Sicily, no surprise here. It's just such a shimmer bomb. I'm so in love with it. It took away the base color if you're going to do something like black, but the shimmer is just what's screaming here. Somebody to Love has more of a pinky effect over dark colors, so I think that's just something to keep in mind if you layer it over, deep grays or blacks or anything like that. And then Tweeters, I'm so in love with this one. I'm so happy it's coming back. If you did not grab it, don't be like me and just miss out on it. It's definitely one you got to see in person. That purple shift is so lush. And then Weiner looks great. I was surprised because I was fully prepared to say we dehorned a unicorn again, but I think it looks pretty cool. So definitely got some versatility here. And then Snow, I'm not sure how I feel about this one. I think it's too much of a curly cream type formula, and I think this is a dehorned unicorn. Pun intended, because it's also white. All right, so these are so pretty, so nice and lovely. I'm telling y'all, this time of year, it is rough. We start off with this palette cleanser of fall shades, and then we move on to Halloween stuff. And I don't know about you guys, but it is my favorite time of year. And then we go into the holidays, and it's typically, glitzy glam stuff, or we get stuff like this where we can have a second chance at them, and it's always very expensive. So this is an uncapped pre-order. The pre-order is going to start November 3rd at noon Central Time through November 8th at 11:59 p.m. Central Time. It also states in our PR information here that she's got mystery bags. I feel like there's a hair that keeps getting in my mouth. This is why I don't like sticky lip gloss. Anyways, there's going to be mystery bags. These are inspired by Dolly Parton, and they weren't included in the swatch packages because she wants them to be a complete true mystery. So there is a flaky mystery bag that has 2 polishes. There's a shimmer mystery bag that has 2 polishes, and they're going to be the same in each bag. So there's no need to scramble and get a bunch of different bags, things like that. These will be discounted for Black Friday, and they will be $23 for each bag. So the pre-order for this, because it's an uncapped pre-order and Wildflower is a very big thing, we've got a 4-week turnaround time after the pre-order ends on the 8th. Anyways, I'm going to have all this information broken down in the description box below, including the website if you want to get in there, and the Facebook group if you haven't joined that yet, and timestamps. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.